Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Four podcast. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to begin with a developing story. Trevor Lawrence has COVID and will not play this weekend against BC. Status unknown for next weekend in South Bend. And Graham Mertz also has COVID and will have to quarantine for 21 days, which includes a date with Michigan. Reactions to this?
They said they might talk about that, though. They might change.
Well, I
that.
go by what it is right now.
Well, Luke, you know who said that? Barry Alvarez. So, obviously.
Obviously, good for Michigan. This finally might be their year. All they had to do. Jim Harbaugh has to infect everyone else with COVID, so they can't play him. And that's how he's going to win. Obviously, if he wants to play dirty like that, he can play dirty. But I think it's very disingenuous. Unfortunate for Wisconsin, who will now be at their fourth quarterback, at the beginning of the depth chart. But it is what it is. And Trevor Lawrence, obviously, this should drop his pro stock down to out of the first round. Shows he's not irresponsible. It shows that he is irresponsible. Can't handle being the big name in the place. If I'm the Jets, I don't take him now. Imagine what I'd be doing in New York. You thought Sam Darnold getting meningitis or whatever it was bad from hanging out with strippers and making out with strippers. Wait until Trevor Lawrence gets there. Oh man, you won't even gonna begin to believe what he's gonna bring.
All right, Mike.
Oh, Alex isn't here?
No, Alex is not able to join us today.
Well, in the case for Clemson, I think this might actually help him in the long run because now that Lawrence has it, the chances that he's going to get it again are extremely slim. So they don't have to worry about losing him later on in the season. In the case of the Big Ten and Graham Mertz, obviously not good. And the 21 days is ridiculous. It was always ridiculous. All the rules that they put in was ridiculous. It's like they were trying to find ways to cancel the season.
What did Paul Feinbaum say?
Because now Nebraska wants to play Chattanooga.
Okay.
And he said it was ridiculous and to kick them out of the Big Ten. They provide nothing to the Big Ten.
They are an embarrassment. He's not wrong about that.
No, but the way he said it was just so wrong.
Okay, well, my take on this, the whole Big Ten 21-day thing is absolutely absurd. I agree. And, if he is out for that Michigan game, that's a game that Michigan needs to win. And they need to take advantage of this opportunity.
Listen, and let me just say something. I think what the Big Ten should do, maybe not the Big Ten, but other conferences, they should get all their infected players and have them infect every single player on every single team.
Just line them all up. Just
exactly.
Put one to a team, line them up, and just start spitting down their throats.
Exactly, and they should be doing this before the season for college basketball.
Okay.
Because once you get infected, you have a greater chance of getting murdered by DJ Durkin than getting this freaking than die from this
all right.
virus.
Okay.
I think everybody should get it so that our college basketball season isn't interrupted.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Will we be talking about the ACC Big Ten Challenge today?
No.
What?
You are literally better off getting this virus than being coached.
Okay. Yes. Okay. We get it. Thank you. The Trevor Lawrence situation, they're not going to have any problem with BC, but Notre Dame next weekend, if he's not playing, that could end up being a huge opportunity for Notre Dame to win and try and make the playoff. Even if they lose that last game to Clemson in the ACC Championship, that's a big opportunity for them. If Lawrence doesn't play, they need to take advantage. Okay.
Here's one thing that concerns me about Trevor Lawrence. He might lose his job. Could you imagine that?
So we're going to move on to the next. We're going to move on to the next topic.
Imagine if he comes out running and gunning. Imagine that.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic.
Heath is so stupid.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
Rutgers with a huge victory. Luke,
oh shit! I forgot about that.
Luke, do you remember who Rutgers beat last week? I'm trying to recall.
No, Ohio State played at the same time as them. I couldn't catch the game. I wanted to see
I
the
actually did catch the game. I saw the end of it especially.
Who'd they play?
Rutgers. They played Michigan State and they won.
What?
Yes.
What? They played Michigan State.
Wow, they beat Michigan State. And I remember just hearing Mike before the season. Oh, all of a sudden we get a new coach and now we're Rutgers. No, you were right, Mike. You're not Rutgers. You're worse than Rutgers. That's right.
We're gonna go 12-0. We're gonna go 12-0.
We're gonna go 12-0 without
we
the
don't even have 12
even playing 12 games.
We don't even have 12 games on our schedule. We're gonna somehow go 12-0.
The best we could go is 11-0, but we'll go 12-0.
Okay. Anything to say about this game?
You want me to say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's talk about this in a couple perspectives. We'll start with the macro perspective, as in the long-term effects of this game. I mean, it could possibly hit recruiting in terms of the two guys we got in New Jersey. I heard Rutgers is really going after them pretty hard. But in the grand scheme of things, you can replace those guys. I mean, Nick Saban lost his first game 55-0. Now it was to a top 5 Nebraska team, but same thing. 55-0, 38-27 to Rutgers. And now let's talk about this in a short-term perspective. I don't think Michigan State is nearly as bad as they played in this game. Are we a great team? No. Are we 0-8 bad? No. We're like a team 6 football team.
That's a lie. That's why I rang the bell. You are an 0-8 team. I don't see a game you can win.
Okay. Well, are you gonna let me talk, or are you gonna just play that thing?
Well, if you tell the truth, I'll let you talk.
This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Okay. The defense, it was okay. Defense played well in spurts, played bad in a couple drives, but you can't blame this game on the defense when the average starting field position for Rutgers was at the MSU 40-yard line. I mean, it's pretty hard to stop them. The offense, I thought, when they weren't turning the ball over, they looked pretty good besides the running game, which was terrible. I thought Rocky was a lot better than I was expecting. Played a very good game, actually. 31 for 44. I think there was a stretch where he completed like 18 out of 19 passes. Now, this is Rutgers. I got to keep reminding myself that. But listen, I mean, we played good enough. I think if we didn't turn the ball over, we would have won by 10 points-ish, like 27-17. Rutgers. Now, let me get to Rutgers here, because I think they're improved. I think they've got good players. One of the players they got that was really disruptive was the Michigan transfer, who would be starting on Michigan, because Michigan cannot stop the run to save their life. That's Michael Dwumfor, and we could not block him at all. In the secondary, they got this Ohio State kid, White, who was like the MVP of the Rose Bowl or whatever the hell. I'm sure Luke knows something about him. And he made a couple plays. So, I mean, it's just the turnovers. Fix the turnovers, you win the game. Not too worried about this because I'm in a long-term mindset here. This year doesn't mean anything. It's year 0 for Mel Tucker. Next year's not going to mean anything. It's the third year that's going to mean something.
Okay.
That was a lie. I'm literally telling you what I think.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. All right. Yeah, this is embarrassing. As for the talking about Dwumfor, he's a grad transfer, so that's why he transferred.
Okay, I didn't say anything about why he transferred.
No, you
I just
did.
Said he would start at
you indicated that he didn't want to play at Michigan. That's what you indicated that.
He didn't want to play at Michigan because if he wanted to play there, he would have stayed.
No. Okay.
What?
Hey, horrible performance for Michigan State. Nothing else really needs to be said. Rocky Lombardi, I watched some of this game. The guy sucks. He's not good. I was not impressed.
He's better than your
with Mel Tucker. I can't remember what the situation was, but there was like a 4th and 3 in the red zone. He should have kicked the field goal, and he went for it. So I already know he's a horrible game manager. We've already been over that. He's a terrible recruiter, and I think he's in the hot seat. If I'm going to be honest. Okay.
Yeah, he's on the hot seat. He'll be on the hot seat in 4 years. That's the closest point to him being on the hot seat.
Okay. So let's move on.
Yeah. Now, if you listen to Michigan State fans, you would have thought that he'd been fired by now.
Yeah, he should have been fired.
Some of the fan base.
Okay, we're going to move on. Michigan, with a very impressive win over Minnesota on Saturday night. Reactions to this?
No, Minnesota sucks. They're just not a good football team. Michigan should have beat them by more. So that's embarrassing for Michigan. It was an embarrassing performance. Joe Milton looked horrible for going against a grade F defense, and just overall embarrassing.
Well, Chris, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Now, my final score was a little bit closer than this, my prediction, but I got the game, like how the game went. I think I predicted that pretty right. Minnesota lost their top 5 tacklers from last year. You can't replace that, especially when you're statistically or whatever you're rated the 13th best roster in the conference. And Michigan, give them credit, they took care of business. But let's be honest, Joe Milton was on training wheels last week. And once Michigan plays a good team, we're going to see how good he actually is. I mean, Michigan was able to run the ball at will with him, but when teams force him to throw like 3rd and long, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, how is he going to play? That's my question. Rocky proved that he can do it. Joe Milton hasn't proved it yet. Rocky's a better quarterback. Right now, I think it's not even close. We look at the two performances. Milton, I mean, he managed the game, give him credit, but, you got to do a little bit more than that. I mean, he is better than Shea because Shea would have thrown 4 picks last week and they would have lost somehow. I thought the offense looked good. I thought the defense, besides they couldn't stop the run because they've got a bunch of defensive tackles who are way undersized. Won't matter this week because our offensive line's horrible, but it'll matter. Might not even matter against Wisconsin. We'll see. Might not matter until the Ohio State game. But Michigan, they got to work on that. They can rush the passer, but they got to be able to stop the run. And Minnesota, it's a rebuilding year. Coming into the season, I wasn't as high as a lot of people were. And, I think it's going to be maybe a 500 type season for them. And listen, Tanner Morgan will be back for his 10th year next year. So.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think I'm with you guys. Minnesota isn't as good as I thought they were. They're a game over 500 or a 500 team probably. But still, offensively, even against a bad defense, this never happened under Jim Harbaugh. This has never happened where they go out and score 49 points and what should have been more if they could kick the ball through the uprights. I was really impressed with the offense. Move the ball all game. Minnesota they couldn't even get them to 3rd down. They were moving the ball all game, running at will. Joe Milton managed the game, made good decisions, no turnovers. If we don't turn the ball over, we're going to be hard to beat. And defensively, it was honestly, I'm going to be frank, it was a disgusting performance.
That's a hot take. If you turn the ball over less than your opponent, you're going to you have a better chance to win the game.
It was a disgusting performance defensively, especially running. Usually Michigan is able to stop the run because they rushed 11 guys, but they still couldn't stop the run. They ran all over them. Somehow they were able to contain the pass game a little bit. But I'm sure that'll change when we play Ohio State and Penn State and we send 8 guys and we have everybody on islands as usual. So I'm still not sold. We got an easy game this week, obviously. But then it gets good.
Man, I'm not sold that Michigan's better than Michigan State. I mean, come on.
So
let's be honest with ourselves. The talent gap is small.
Yeah.
There is no talent gap between the two teams at all.
Okay.
0.
Yeah. Okay. So next week we have Indiana and then Wisconsin the week after. So we'll have to, just take care of business this week against a bad team, and then we'll look forward and see what we can do next week. Okay.
Yeah, well, the bad team is going to win the game.
Okay. We'll get to that later. All right, we got some other.
That's my bet of the week. Michigan State money line bet of the week.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get to some other games from the Big Ten last week. Wisconsin with a very easy win over Illinois. Ohio State pulled away from Nebraska in the second half to win.
Okay, it was more like the second quarter because once it got to the second quarter, it was
Purdue
over.
defeated Iowa. Northwestern destroys Maryland, and Indiana over Penn State in overtime. You guys can highlight whatever game you want.
What a win by Indiana. Tom Allen getting it done.
That's right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Tom Allen just figures it out. He just figures it out.
He figures out how to beat the teams he's supposed to beat and lose to the teams that he's not supposed to beat, except for this time. I'll go back to that game. Once again, what does it come down to for Penn State? It comes down to a coaching error by James Franklin. Facts. It seems like it always does. How do you not tell your running back to get down and play for the win there? How? I mean, it just makes no sense to me. They told him. That should have been the first thing they told him. That should have been the first thing they told him. And if they did tell him, the guy's an idiot, and it's still on James Franklin for recruiting.
Still on James Franklin.
Guess what?
Still on James Franklin.
Yeah, you should have recruited a smarter player. How about that? Anyways, that was a win that Penn State should have had.
It's not even like this is something that doesn't happen. Like, it happens a fair amount. It literally happened the week before in the Falcons game in the NFL. You think they go over it? Or was it the day after? I don't know.
It was the day after, yeah.
You'd imagine it's not so, like, it happens at least once a year in the NFL and college. You think they'd go over it?
Listen to this: time possession 40-20 Penn State. Total yards 488 to 211 Penn State.
Saw that.
My God. And you still lose. That's on the coach. There is no excuse to lose that game. Indiana, the only reason why Indiana was in the game was turnovers and that ridiculous, whatever the heck that was, scoring the touchdown at the end. That was absurd. And I guess I'll talk about this game because I picked it correctly. Jeff Brom wasn't there, but his brother was there. That's a big win for Purdue. Iowa's in trouble. Listen, say what you want about this week. They play a tough Northwestern team, and you'll see why picking that game, but it's probably not going to be Iowa. And then next week, Michigan State. I mean, you gotta, if you turn the ball.
All right, so I'm going to go now. We're not even going to go there because we don't entertain absurdity on this podcast.
Could you imagine if we won tomorrow?
No, I can't. It's not going to happen. Okay. I refuse to talk about Ohio State until they play a good team. Obviously, the Big Ten gave them the easiest schedule ever, so I'll go to another game.
Well, Ohio State will be fine once they play Rutgers. You'll be able to talk about them.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Northwestern over Maryland. What a performance from Maryland. As we can see, they're much improved from last year. Great.
Yeah, talk about coaches on the hot seat. Mike Locksley. My God. Did you see he's like 3-57 as a head coach in his career?
Yeah, he's struggling.
He's horrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's see if he actually is on the hot seat.
Oh, boy.
There's only one way to find out.
Anyways, great game from Talia Tagovailoa here. 3 picks, very solid. But how about my guy, Peyton Ramsey? Great game for Northwestern, good win. Purdue. Solid win for Purdue. Mike called that. I'll give him that.
Apparently Mike Leach is on the hot seat.
Yeah, I agree. He is on the hot seat.
So is Scott Frost. That's interesting.
Anyway.
He might be. If they go winless, he might be.
No,
obviously, Iowa is going to struggle.
They don't have the money to get rid of him.
Iowa's going to struggle. I do like what I saw from the quarterback, though. I thought he was pretty good. He's got a good arm. He's
Mike
a big guy.
is not on the hot seat. He's 6-41. He's going to pay $3 million a year. Oh my God! He is on the edge of the hot seat now.
He's also last in the Big Ten. He's also by far the lowest paid head coach in the Big Ten.
He's warming up.
Yeah, I just don't. That's from Iowa. I just don't know what the game plan was here. They're always a team's heavy run. They threw the ball 39 times. This is a game that they were up, or it was close the whole game. I mean, what are they doing? And they were running the ball well too.
Iowa hasn't been able to run the ball since freaking 2010.
They were running the ball well. They were running the ball well, and they went away from it and they threw it. I like Petrus, but that was a tough loss. And as for Indiana, As you guys said, no excuse for Penn State to lose that game, but what a play at the end by Penix. Controversial call, but when Penn State puts it in that position, they deserve to lose because they should have won in regulation.
Let me talk about Iowa for a second because
Mike,
you know why they can't run the ball?
Mike,
because they're what?
Paul Chris only gets paid $4.5 million.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. He'll definitely get a raise when his time comes. That's for
Tom
sure.
Allen getting paid $2.25 million. That's less than Loxley.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So.
Yeah, he'll also get a raise, or he'll be taken away by some other team. Maybe that's who Texas should get. Tom Allen.
Yes.
Oh God.
Tom Allen's at Texas.
Okay, let's relax.
Oh my God! He would not lose a single recruit in the state of Texas. He would get every single one.
Everybody wants to play for Tom.
Anyways, why is it Iowa always has they always have Wisconsin level offensive lines and they still can never run the ball? You know why? Because Wisconsin actually innovates, and Iowa has run the same offense for 20 years.
Wisconsin actually has a game plan when it comes to running the ball. Iowa kind of just hands it off to the running back and hopes he can run it, just not straight into the row. There's actually a blocking scheme. Wisconsin has an actual blocking scheme to try to open holes. Iowa's just here's the ball, go find a hole. Figure it out.
That's a perfect comparison. That's perfect. You couldn't have said it any better than that.
That's what they do.
And then what they do with their quarterbacks is they just say throw it up to the receiver and hope he catches it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much it.
They'll be like, "Hey, Coach Farron, should we try to block to the left or should we block to the right?" And he'll just be like, "Oh, we're just gonna give it to the running back."
All right. Enough of Iowa. Let's move into the SEC. Auburn with a thrilling victory over Ole Miss that they definitely should have won. Alabama destroys Tennessee. Missouri beats Mike's favorite Kentucky team that he said was elite. And LSU
I never said that.
LSU defeats South Carolina because Miles Brennan didn't play. Reactions?
Okay, Miles Brennan's very good, Chris.
No,
Stop. I
he's
don't know
horrible.
why you're always hating on him.
Horrible.
No. Okay. Auburn obviously still sucks.
Well, they're 3-2.
Yeah, well, they should be 1-4.
Still
Ole Miss
3-2.
is very good. How about Texas?
What?
How about them? They still suck. Tom Herman.
We're talking about the
go.
SEC.
I don't give a shit. I'm talking about Texas, and they suck. I'm so pissed at Texas this year. I was so high on him, but Tom Herman needs to go. The whole locker room's out on him, and he just sucks. The SEC sucks. I hate the SEC.
I think he's gone. Because the one defense.
I don't think he is.
No, I think he's gone. The one defense that Texas fans had for Tom Herman was, if he leaves, then the recruiting classes will get fucked up. Oh, look, they're already fucked up.
Yeah, they're already
leaving.
Yeah, they're already leaving. Well, the problem is I don't know if they can afford to fire him because this buyout's $10 million, and
I just no. Money's never an issue. Never an issue.
No. I would agree with you, but with COVID is the problem. I think.
Yeah, but no BS because some booster will come in and say, "I'll give you $20 million to go f off." Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
Tom Herman's stupid face on the sideline. It's $30 million.
His face, Tom Herman's face after a pass interference penalty or after any penalty because they get penalized on every play. It's hilarious. Anyways, back to the SEC. How about Ole Miss getting absolutely just shafted again, getting shafted by the refs?
Yeah.
Listen, I think
Lane Kiffin
I'm in favor.
Paying is fine in pennies.
Exactly. I'm totally in favor of the Lane train. Literally getting a train full of pennies, sending it to Montgomery or Birmingham, where the hell the SEC office is, and just dump them onto the front lawn of the SEC offices. that was ridiculous. How does the replay review not see that? I mean, come on. And then they don't even give an explanation. Like, give me a break. And then
no, they came out and said he was right? And then you find him.
Yeah, exactly. And then they might fine him again for talking about it, for talking about the fine, which is funny, actually. LSU, that's a big win. Hey, Chris, what month is it?
October.
It's Cocktober. It is Cocktober. Nobody beat South Carolina in Cocktober. And LSU did it.
Oh,
They're the greatest team in the history of college football because nobody beat South Carolina in Cocktober.
Exactly.
Well, Florida beat them. That's your team.
No, doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Okay. All right. Yeah, some great SEC games here. Obviously, Alabama, good win. I'll talk about Auburn. What a performance from Auburn. Great call, great no call there on the kickoff.
Chris, I'm starting to believe in this Gus magic.
Yes.
His magic is literally the difference between 1-4 and 3-2.
Yes,
literally
it is. People want him. People want him fired. Are you kidding me? They should be 1-4. What a drive by Bo Picks at the end of the game. Bo Picks to Seth Williams. We've seen that before. Game winner. What a performance from Bo Picks. Great win for Auburn. As for Missouri and Kentucky, Mike, what happened to Kentucky?
Well, listen, Missouri's found their guy at quarterback. This Bazalak guy, or the hell is how do you say it? He's been playing really well. Missouri has played every team they played real tough. You know, they don't have the Jimmies and Joes other teams have, but they're playing tough with a new coach. What?
But they've got the X's and O's.
Yeah, they don't have the Jimmies and Joes, but they do have the X's and O's.
That's right.
That's true. And Kentucky, the one thing about Kentucky is they rely on the turnover too much. So when they don't force turnovers, they tend to lose. So
yeah, I'm out on Kentucky this year. I don't think they're as good as.
I think they're decent. I think they're
I think
decent.
they're all right.
They're a typical 7-5, 8-4 Kentucky team under Mark Stoops.
Okay. Yeah. Kentucky sucks. And as for LSU, they suck too, but that's an embarrassing win. Okay.
No, it's Cocktober. They're a national championship contender.
Next game we will talk about before we look ahead. The best team in the Big 12, Oklahoma State, beats Iowa State. Any changes in your Big 12 predictions and reactions to that game?
No changes in my predictions, but I'm starting to believe in Oklahoma State, Chris. I will say.
Let's go.
I'm starting to believe. I think they're going to make the Big 12 championship. I don't think they're going to win it because they always choke. You want to talk about a team that chokes. Anytime they're in a position to win anything, they choke. Whether that's getting into the BCS national championship game and they choked, or whether that's winning Bedlam, choke, Big 12, choke. They always choke in the big games.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. The one issue, I think, for Oklahoma State, you never say this, but their offense is it's probably the weakest part of their team, especially the offensive line, who they just can't get a push against anybody. The only team they could run the ball on was Kansas, and Kansas isn't doing too hot right now.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, I mean, it was a good win. It was a solid win. They were able to get it done, and they won. The score was, I think the score was 3, but Iowa State got a late touchdown, so it was 10. So their defense is playing really well. Now, they've got a test this week against Texas. We'll see if they can win that game. I'll be 100% bought in. Because Oklahoma's got 2 losses, but I think if Oklahoma can get into that game, into the champ, I think they'll win. I think Oklahoma's playing like the best team right now in the Big 12.
Yeah, no. Oklahoma sucks.
Oklahoma sucks too.
Yeah, they suck. As for OSU, they're in the midst of a tough stretch right now. They got Texas this week. They're at Kansas State next week. At Oklahoma.
I will say, people have been saying have Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama separate themselves from everybody else. I don't think it's as big as a deal as everyone else thinks. Just look at Oklahoma. Everyone was talking about Oklahoma being in that conversation. Look at them now. And LSU, you just get one good year. I think college football is a lot more even than everybody thinks it is, year to year. When it comes to like over a 10-year span, obviously you're gonna have Ohio State now, Alabama, and probably Clemson dominating for the next 4 or 5 years. When it comes to just year in and year out, I mean, teams can go up and down all the time.
All right, yeah. As for OSU, tough stretch right now. We'll see how they do this week against Texas. But yeah, they're playing really well. Their defense is for real, and their offense.
They got to start. They got to start running the ball.
Their offense gets points when they need to, and Chuba was pretty good last week. Sanders, he's fine. He's good.
Okay, Chuba had one good run, and he couldn't run the ball at all. Besides that,
well, he was fine. They're fine. Their offense is fine. I'm not worried about their offense. This is the best team in the Big 12. It's not close. All right.
No, Oklahoma's playing.
Yeah, well, Iowa State. So
they just beat them.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Oh.
Yeah, here's the problem for Oklahoma. They don't have the tiebreaker over the two teams that are ahead of them, and Oklahoma State's also ahead of them. So if Oklahoma State can play like Iowa State or Kansas State in the championship, I think they're going to win. But if they play Oklahoma, or I guess Texas is still in there, I guess. I mean, I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
All right. Let's get into some predictions for next week, or this week, tomorrow. 2 games we'll project. We'll start with Michigan State and Michigan.
Oh, Michigan State's going to win. Michigan sucks. That's why. It's not even going to be close.
I'm not feeling too hot about this game as a Michigan State fan.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not really feeling it. Now, the line has gone in our favor a little bit. It was 25. It's now 21 and a half. So that has to be a good sign, right? I mean, the line last week was Michigan State minus 14 and a half, and then by kickoff it was 10 and a half. So that has to be a good sign, right? Yeah, we're not going to be able to sustain drives. It's as simple as that. Our passing game, I think we're a lot better passing than we were last year. I think Lombardi's, at least for one game, Lombardi's showing that he's better than Brian Lewerke. And then we have better receivers than we did last year. Jaden Reed's a very good receiver. If he can hold on to the damn ball, he could be a really good receiver in the Big Ten. Now, the running game's an absolute mess. We've got just a turnstile at offensive line. When it comes to actual in play, we're definitely a turnstile. And then also, just the depth chart's a turnstile. Who the hell knows is going to start at the guard positions? And I guess the good thing is I think Rutgers is a better run defense than Michigan. But we're not going to be able to run the ball at all. No, I mean, Rutgers has some big dudes up there.
Mike, stop. You played Rutgers and lost.
I think, listen, I'm telling you what I think, all right? I think Michigan, they're very good. Michigan might be the best pass rush defensive line in the country, but they cannot stop the run. They can't do it.
They can do it better than Rutgers.
No, Rutgers, they're going to have a good run defense.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, I think Michigan State can keep it close for maybe a quarter or two, but Michigan's just going to be able to put up a pretty good fight. Yeah. But I think Michigan State's going to win.
Okay.
If that made any sense.
That's 2-1 to Michigan State.
Yeah. Michigan is going to win this game by a record number of points, I believe. Mike actually sent me something. What was that, Mike? The biggest deficit in a game was like 117-0 Michigan between these two teams?
No, 119-0.
119. Right. I think we may see something bigger than that this weekend. This is a team that's worse than Rutgers, and Michigan is coming off a huge win. I think Michigan wins this game by 40+.
I got to give credit to Chris because Chris has the right mindset going into these games. Chris's mindset is set the bar as low as possible so that when his team clears it, he could be excited. My mindset is set the bar medium to high, and then get disappointed when they don't surpass it. So I'm going to set the bar very low, and I think Michigan State's going to win by only a field goal this week.
All right. That's enough of that. Let's move into the Ohio State-Penn State game. What do we think about this?
Oh, Ohio State's going to wipe the floor with them. It's not going to matter. We could be down 40 points going into the fourth quarter, and what's-his-face, numbnuts on the other sideline will blow it. I mean, he is the worst coach in the Big Ten. James Franklin is the worst coach in the Big Ten.
Yeah, James Franklin is the typical example of why Jimmys and Joes are better than X's and O's, because what does James Franklin have? He has the Jimmys and Joes, and he has horrible X's and O's, and they still win 10 games a year. It's as simple as that. Ohio State's gonna. I think this game, I think it'll be a little bit closer than the Michigan State Michigan game at halftime. I think it'll be like a respectable, maybe Ohio State's up 7-10 at halftime, and then they come out in the second half and win by like 20 to like 24 points. But I think Ohio State's, they're just too deep. Penn State, no Micah Parsons. I think it's just too much for them.
Yeah, I agree. It's too much. Ohio State's going to win this game. I think it's going to be a wire-to-wire. There's no crowd, so if there was a crowd, Penn State would keep it close. But no. I mean, Ohio State's going to win this game easily by 20 to 30.
I think they're going to be better without the crowd, because James Franklin, he's just, I don't know. I don't know if he plays to the crowd, but when there is a crowd, he sucks.
I don't think he's so stupid. He might not even realize there's a crowd there. He's such a bad coach. Oh, my God.
All right, let's move into the picks. Mike is in first place somehow. He gets all these games wrong, somehow still in first place.
Somehow I'm just better.
Somehow Alex is still.
Well, I'm in second. Luke is just a game behind me. I am 11 games behind Mike. And Alex, he is 12 games behind Luke. He has won 31 games this year without picking one. So that's interesting.
He's doing well. He's had a tough start, but he's turned it together a little bit here.
All right, let's start with Minnesota at Maryland tonight. What do you got?
I'm going to take Minnesota.
I'm actually looking forward to this game. We'll see if Maryland has a pulse tonight. I think the game's starting in like 3 minutes, so I'll just wait until the game's over before I make my pick. So, Chris, you can go.
Well, that's what Alex does every week, and somehow he's still in last.
All right.
Okay. No, I'll take Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota as well. Okay. Michigan State at Michigan. We already picked this game, actually, but you can say it again.
Michigan.
No, I'll take Michigan.
Okay, now, yeah. I'm going to take Michigan as well. All right. Kansas State at West Virginia.
Kansas. What's up with Kansas State's quarterback?
He's out for the year, I believe.
Shit. I'll still take Kansas State.
Here's a very interesting stat for all of you. Kansas State has been outgained in every single game they've played except for the Kansas game.
Here comes the law of averages argument.
Yeah, here comes the law of averages argument. West Virginia wins. Give me West Virginia.
I like West Virginia as well. Kansas State looking ahead of next week against OSU. I think West Virginia gets the win. Memphis at Cincinnati.
Well, I'm Cincinnati. Luke Fickell's the best coach in the country.
Yeah, I agree with both points. Cincinnati
in a blowout.
Well, Memphis won. Memphis beat them twice at the end of last year, like 2 straight weeks.
No, Cincinnati's going to win. Purdue at Illinois.
I'll take Purdue.
Yeah. Jeff Brom, who's probably, I don't even know if he's coaching this week. He's still, I don't know if he has COVID or not. I'm assuming he's not coaching, but it doesn't matter because Brian Brom's the better Brom. Purdue's going to win. I did not like what I saw from Illinois last week. I'll take Purdue in this game.
Yeah, I like Purdue in a close one. I think Lovie Smith keeps the game close with his X's and O's. But
he doesn't have either the X's and O's or the Jimmys and Joes.
Listen, they have the coach and they have the quarterback, but they have nothing else.
The quarterback.
They do. Okay.
Okay, the quarterback played well in one game last year. That was the Michigan State game. He sucked in every other game.
No, that's not true. Okay. I'm taking Purdue.
They need Jeff George Jr. back. That's who they need.
No. Okay.
Then he transferred to Michigan?
Yes. And then he left 3 minutes later. Okay. I'm taking Purdue. Next game, Indiana at Rutgers.
Oh, Indiana.
Well, we saw the stat line from last week. Indiana was absolutely dominated in pretty much every aspect, and they still won. So congratulations to them. Law of averages say they're not going to play. They're not going to get as lucky this week. I still think they're going to beat Rutgers, but they're not going to cover. I'm going to take Indiana by 7.
They're not going to get as lucky. What are you talking? You think they're going to get outgained by Rutgers?
No, but if they played Penn State again and there was the same stat line, they would not win the game.
That's late news.
They're playing a lesser opponent, so they will not get as lucky, but it won't matter because they're still better. So they'll still win. That's my point.
Okay. Yeah, Indiana's going to win it. I think Rutgers might hang around because Indiana will be looking ahead to Michigan next week. But, yeah, I'll take Indiana.
Indiana's got the Rutgers has the quarterback. Noah Vedral's the top.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next game here.
Ring the bell.
Yep. All right, LSU at Auburn.
I'll take LSU.
Well, there's not a lot of good games this week. A lot of outmatched opponents. This is one of the interesting games. Both teams are unranked, but it's a very interesting matchup. I think LSU's got the advantage at pretty much every position. I'll take LSU to win, even though it's on the road. Fluky things happen, and I wouldn't be shocked if LSU took a knee and to ice the game, and then the referees called a personal foul on the quarterback.
Yes.
It gives the ball back to Auburn, and then they kick a field goal to win. I would not be shocked, but I'm going to take LSU.
Lock of the week. Auburn will win this game. They are much better than LSU. Every decent team LSU has played, they have lost to. And Auburn is a decent team. So therefore,
okay.
Auburn
South
will
Carolina
win.
is very okay. Auburn lost to South Carolina.
That doesn't matter.
LSU just
Doesn't
beat them by
matter.
35.
Good decent teams have bad weeks. So I'm taking Auburn to win this game in an Auburn-style blowout. I think they win by 2 points.
Listen, I don't blame Auburn. They played South Carolina in October and they lost. You can't blame them for it.
All right. Northwestern at Iowa.
I'll take Pat Fitzgerald. I believe in him.
Yeah, I was extremely impressed with what I saw from Northwestern. They've had a couple opt-outs on both sides. Offensive line looked good. I was going to say Mason Ramsey. Peyton Ramsey looked good. They're just a good, well-rounded team. Maryland's probably by far the worst team in the Big Ten right now.
No. Michigan
so
State.
Take too much.
Michigan State's the worst team in the Big Ten.
I don't want to take too much out of that game, but I think Northwestern pulls it off.
I think this is an interesting game. I like Northwestern. I like the quarterback. I think they're going to be much improved. But I think coming off a loss like that last week, there's too much talent there for Iowa to lose this game to a
There's
team.
Too much noise in the Iowa program.
Okay, we're going to move to the next game before getting into that.
What's going on in
Texas,
the Iowa program, Mike?
all right, that's a mute.
They've had a lot of noise, to say the least.
I will mute you. I will mute you guys. I did it to Mike last week.
Just ring the bell. You can't hear him.
I did it to Mike last week.
I've heard it's a lot of dark noise.
All right, Texas at Oklahoma State. Who you got?
Hook 'em. I'm taking Texas. They're going to lose, but I'm taking them.
My God, this is a very interesting game.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. This is one of the games of the week.
Actually, no. I'm taking Oklahoma State. I saw a stat that Oklahoma State's won like 17 out of the last 20 matchups or something like that. Something ridiculous.
Here's the
Maybe
problem.
it was 7 out of the last 10. I don't know. I'm taking Oklahoma State.
We talk about how great Oklahoma State's defense is, and it has been very good to start the year. They have not played a good offense all year. They have not played a single good offense. you could say Iowa State's a good offense, but they've not played like their good offense this year. Texas is averaging like 48 points a game, so that's going to be very interesting. I think Texas wins. I think Sam, the man, whatever the hell you call him, he's going to come out. I think Oklahoma State, I think they're going to struggle on the offense. I got Texas.
I'm going to be honest, I think OSU blows them out. Bad. Real bad. I don't think this is going to be remotely close. I think their defense will hold up. Texas' defense is horrible. And they'll be able to score decent. I'll say 48-24 OSU. All right. Last game on the schedule, Ohio State at Penn State.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ohio State by 1 million. It'll be close for about the first half and maybe a drive into the second half. Then Ohio State will end up winning by 30.
Well, yeah, that's the most likely scenario. But what would not shock me? What would not shock me is Penn State has a 10-point lead with 30 seconds to go. James Franklin decides to throw the football, pick six. Ohio State recovers an onside kick, and then James Franklin decides to run goal line, and then
Ohio State would recover the onside kick, but they'd only recover it because James Franklin went for regular deep return coverage.
That's
I think Ohio State, no timeouts, 2 seconds left, goes for the onside kick, and Penn State's all in the end zone, waiting for the deep kick.
The 4th and 5 play call might be the worst play call in the history of
college. Yeah, the run right up the middle.
No, the RPO.
That was not an RPO.
And then we also forget that same year, Penn State played Michigan State, and Penn State, all they had to do was get a first down, run out the clock, and Trace McSorley ran out of bounds, giving Brian Lewerke enough time to go down the field and win the game.
Wasn't that the same
year? Every game they lose, there's just something stupid.
Wasn't that the same year they went to Ann Arbor and got absolutely railed too?
Maybe. Might have been that year.
The RPO. The infamous RPO.
Yeah, all right. I'm taking Ohio State. That's going to do it for today's podcast. I'm not getting into this. We'll see you next week.